This is the Stereosis.
A lot of Nigerian schools, or let me say the Nigerian school system, recognizes our Nigerian languages, what we call local languages, which are not actually local, as vernacular in most of our secondary and primary schools. Now, we're asking, is it right to call our own local, or not actually local, but our own languages vernacular? Why can't we speak, for example, in Southeast, Igbo and English in school?
Well, it's very possible for there to be a melange of both. After all, I grew up in Cameroon, and then we spoke French and English.
Okay, in Cameroon.
Yes, in the school.
The school. They also have some local languages.
They have local languages, but
is it called vernacular?
They don't. Most times you don't even hear about them in school. It is the same problem that we are facing here in in Nigeria and across West Africa. Yeah, that Cameroon too are going through.
But you can actually compare that's the French system. You can also compare it with the British system.
It's similar.
Okay, similar. But is it called vernacular in school? Is that called vernacular? Is it openly attacked like
that? Because I was a foreigner, I wouldn't know so
because
much.
You are not
then.
actually attached to it. You are
so
English.
It was actually propagated that you speak a secular language that everybody understands,
which is English.
Okay. It's a problem for me. I feel the calling of name or calling of it as vernacular is because that just is just a situation to cushion the effect of somebody feeling maybe marginalized or in one part, because Nigeria, is a multi-ethnic nationality, very diverse. So it was a colonial kind of a system to make sure that everybody spoke that language, and a way of trying to instill the language in the minds and memories of those who went through the four walls of the school.
Yeah. Then leaving our own languages also
to go down,
and then like we've seen a lot of young guys, especially in Igbo, writing science textbooks in Igbo language, and then there's kind of resurgence of all these kind of things. And I read something he said there was a time he read was it a UN report, and they said they are proposing that within a century that Igbo language may actually
go extinct,
and then he took up that challenge. There's also another guy, Osigwe.
Ike
Osondo also. I think that one wrote also biology.
I think it was that was normally
2014 or 2013.
Around 2013. That for me, that was the first attempt to actually
put the science subject,
translate
science,
a lot of science subject into Igbo language.
And it could also be a reference. I can just imagine this. Imagine when we were in secondary school and had all those kind of things. And sometimes, imagine those days in chemistry and they bring all these reagents, another one. And most times, the connection you have with this thing is very far.
Yeah, because of the language barrier. That we have.
It's not like when they draw hand on the board and you say "aka," you can actually
relate to a lot of things.
Yes.
Because it's just like Ike Osondo. He's a very sound author from Godfrey Okoye. He started writing while in the university. I think he was in either second or third year.
He did actually study.
He studied microbiology. And that was what gave him an edge to actually he's an Igbo enthusiast. Ike Osondo is an Igbo guy that you can stay with him today and then you speak completely Igbo. And then you think this one is a push aside because of the level of Igbo-ness in him. He speaks Igbo fluently. And then he doesn't drop 2 or 3 sentences without more than half of it being in parables. Ike Osondo, kekime, osigin na mowa maputo maya zo ego kuna egba. That kind of thing. And then
he's going to actually be in our studio very soon. And,
I pray one of these days.
We're talking with him, and he may actually come up. And then the other guy, the guy who is
Mazi Obonia, is actually trending,
and
because
it's nice.
The work he did with the physics text that he transcribed into Igbo is something very astonishing. And then if you've been into academics, you will understand how enormous such a task is. Yeah. And the book is actually of a huge volume. And then I pray that sooner or later, anyways, a lot of schools are buying it, but I wouldn't want it to be something for the archives. It should be something that should be put in practice. We should learn to study some of these core subjects in Igbo language for better understanding, better assimilation.
Not actually Igbo self.
Even across other cultural diversified, the cultural diversity. We know how the country is very diverse. After all, you cannot say that you want to unite everyone and then do however you call it. You look at a country like India. You look at a country like China. You look at a lot of other countries. They have some other language. If you even look at Austria, where they have about so many languages, is it not the language where you use study and you go use write exam?
Yes.
All right. So now this is a way of encouraging Igbo. If we must make sure that our language doesn't go extinct as was propagated, then we must embrace these scholars, Iko Sondo and Mazi Oboniokuru. They've put a great lot of effort into doing the works they've done.
Yeah.
To translate microbiology to Igbo. It's not easy.
It's not easy, yeah.
Now to translate physics to Igbo. It's not equally easy. Yeah. Now, the challenge I have is that a lot of people are just good at unnecessary criticism. You might criticize their work, but where were you when they did this work?
Yeah, but it's good.
They've put a lot of energy. Yes, criticisms should be welcome, but after all, let me tell you, almost all the books you see, they have first edition, second edition, third edition, even 20th edition. Yeah. How many editions does the Oxford Dictionary have?
A lot.
So that tells you that there is room for amendment. There is a room for, balancing.
And this issue of some people also argue that because Igbo is most of the languages, indigenous languages in Nigeria, they have like a kind of a regional reach. That learning English is better and all those kind of things. And that most times when the understanding comes, exactly when you've been internalized.
When it's localized,
internalize the kind of thing, you can relate with it.
Yes.
Like when you see sometimes when you read all these books, especially the guys in US, say the guy behind the waves and all these kind of things, and then most times
you don't even understand that some of them. That's why even some people fail.
Yeah. Now, if behind the wheel, those kind of things in America, especially most of the American books and the way they describe all this kind of thing, when you hear them speak, like Trump,
when they give you illustrations about scenarios and all those things, sometimes you don't even understand it. When there was a course we did in social science. What was it called? Psychology. Okay. When we did psychology, and we're using an American-based book. It was written in America. Now, there are some scenarios that they want to paint for you. You won't be able to, you might understand, but it doesn't really make enough sense. But when scenarios or settings that happens around you are used to describe certain things, you say, is it this thing that this guy is talking about? Oh, better. Okay.
So sodium chloride, they say, no.
But that is what it is.
Yeah. And I can imagine my nephew. I can imagine my nephew is like 6 now. When you say sodium chloride, he will look at you and smile. Possibly, but when you say sodium chloride,
and then he understands. Now you might be saying that it's better. Some people might be arguing that it's better you teach them in English. Yes, English is good. Yeah, but let me tell you, the human brain, especially when they are still very tender, has the ability to expand and accommodate as many languages as you expose them to. So if we start very early, in let's say primary school down to secondary school, making sure that that there is a balance between the English language we speak and then the Igbo language we speak, it makes you more of a whole individual.
Yeah, I can relate to this because my nephew, sometimes he was with us, and sometimes when he was learning how to speak English properly and all those kind of things, he would listen to him say "Okuko," and the guy will go to school. And then the guy will come back. The guy can join something together when he's speaking.
Yes.
The guy can actually differentiate.
Yes. Say,
Daddy, this is Okoko. And this is this. That kind of
yes,
thing.
Of course.
Anyone he does not know the name, he can know the name. You see him jumping out of English and Igbo. And that will not take anything out of the guy. Now, he's very stable. Now, he can speak English very well. He can also understand the Igbo very, very well. Unlike when you just teach the guy only the English. And the guy looks at you, he comes around and he doesn't even understand. The foundation is not that there.
Listen, Chukuma, I tell you something. It's even better. I have this strong belief that you teach a child to be very fluent in Igbo, okay? Because the era of Igbo Megini Agago.
Agago, yeah.
Do you understand me? Listen, a lot of people. There is this lady who is in the US. I follow her on Facebook, and then during her wedding, she launched a book with the husband Chakabula, but what's brought her to limelight is her Igbo-ness, her ability to go through or recite a lot of Igbo folklore, folk music, and a lot of things, and her solid knowledge of the Igbo cultural history and language history has taken her far. She's now based in the US. She's teaching. She's a research person in the US. Teaching. What is she teaching? Oboro Igbo.
Yeah.
Oboro Igbo Biyago Obodo Igbo.
Yeah.
Now, we cannot downplay what is in our backyard.
Yeah.
And then go for something that is even far-fetched. By the way, if you look at most Nigerian graduates, I tell you, take them to go write some of those exams they write before you go do your advanced program in Canada and in the US. They will still fail.
Because on the pronunciation part.
Not be to the blow big grammar be say you sabi English.
English, yeah.
It's different. Okaro mumma na mmụta dịrị Igbo a.
Igbo very
na-asụ
well.
Igbo fluently.